It's Taimanin time! Hello and welcome to another figure review. Today we're gonna have a look at the second X Asagi Igawa metallic color version. I recorded this like 5 times already and I can't say Asagi Igawa. There you go. I'm gonna have a look at a hentai figure today. So let's throw it all out the window. I'm not gonna censor myself because this is probably gonna get demonetized anyway or just like blacklisted and whatnot. But I'm super excited because I've been a fan of the hentai series of Taimanin Asagi. I never quite played the games, that's how it started, but they do have like a gacha game on Steam, which I downloaded, but I haven't played it yet. But yeah, anyway, this is the metallic version. This is a re-release of the original, which I completely slept on. It came out, I didn't know about it, and when I got the chance to get the second version, I jumped on the occasion. So, let's get into the review. So, this is your final warning. This is going to be a super degenerate review of a degenerate character from a degenerate hentai series, which already is pushing a lot of boundaries. This is YouTube. Obviously, there are some things about this character that I cannot show you, all the nudie parts. I will, however, put the link to my Twitter in the description where I will do a bunch of clips, bunch of pictures with all of its uncensored goodness. So if you want to see the full package, head on over to my Twitter where I will upload a lot more. Obviously, that's the limitations of YouTube. If you're mad about that and you don't have a Twitter, I can't really do anything about it. This figure stands at about 15 centimeters to the top of her head, which means she is going up to pretty much 6 inches tall. Size comparisons. Here's Jolter, the SH Figure Arts Son Goku, NECA Michelangelo, Marfax X-Man Psylocke, fairly similar actually, and Darkseid. Overall look and detail, it's shiny. Oh my god, is it shiny. I love the metallic on this one, even though cloth doesn't make any sense, but let's start at the face sculpt. Have her beautiful green eyes and the large eyes really capturing the style of the character with this really confident look. And we have the 2 antlers, the antennas, the weird hair that's sticking out to the side. It's kind of weirdly connected. If you take off the front hair piece, you see it just kind of stuck in there. It's also fairly movable, but you know, don't test it, don't stress it out too much because you don't want to break it off. It's still fairly thin plastic, which is going on there. Then in the collar, you have a big hinge in there, and unfortunately, like, the collar is not metallic. What happened over there? Why does that not line up with the rest of it? And also we have some more articulation points in the hair, which doesn't make it look so great, especially on the hair parts, which you can move out to the side over there. You can see there's a hinge in there. That's just like this weird hinge. It's not a ball joint, and they didn't really try to hide it, so look-wise, that could have been better. But yeah, I mean, there's the boobs, and it's a bit cold in here, apparently. It's the weather is quite nipply. But the paint itself, very clean. I'm very happy to say that the metallic does line up with some of the gray metal parts on the side, and you have this kind of fishnet going on throughout the body, and she's also pretty ripped. Look at the muscles over there. And yeah, as you can tell, the suit is skin tight as it can be, and then we have some darker purple parts on her arms, the armor that goes around on there. And she has some fairly big hands. I don't even remember if that's a thing of the games or the animes, the hentais and whatnot. And also, you just have a big ugly hinge in the elbow, which again, it doesn't look great, but I guess it gets the job done with some more gray. Have some darker gray parts, and then as you can tell, there's the pussy part, which you can take off. I will not show the alternative part for that. Once again, that's a bonus. Speaking of bonus, there's the butt. Enjoy. We have some more metallic in the back, and also like part of the hinge doesn't look great. Also, like there was one thing I almost forgot to talk about, but first and foremost, you have this pack which is sticking out for the sheath for the sword, which I wish they would have done that a little bit better. Just have a pack hole and have a pack on the sheath. Like, she barely has the sword on her. Let's be honest here. Like, that's, I know it's part of the accessories, but bruh, have this just like permanently on there is kind of buzzing, killing my buzz. But anyway, I just want to bring it back to the paint real quick, because as you can clearly tell on this side, it's all muddy and blurry. Now, that's the only part of the figure that's like that, but still, meh. That's only one part, but I wanted to mention it. The rest of the figure doesn't really have any of these issues. As we move down to, once again, the darker purple, in kind of like the thigh armor, and the knee parts with some more fishnet in there, which is also looking quite glossy, so it doesn't really distract from the overall shininess of the figure. And we do have the high heels in there. Also, this figure is impossibly to stand, because also it's kind of wobbly in the legs, so it's not the most solid in that regard, but there's like a really weird joint in there, which is probably because you want to have some extra leg movement for reasons. But speaking of the articulation, let's just get right into it. The articulation is actually quite excellent for this figure. You do have the hinge, which I already mentioned, so you can move the head forward and backward quite nicely. Does also tilt side to side and goes all the way around without any issues. And then we have the hinges in the side here, and then in the one in the middle. I think that's not a... that's probably just on a ball, because you can bring it up and down. And also has some rotation. You do have no rotation on the side parts. Then for the shoulders, I think it's like the double ball combination, which we know from Figma, but we do have a nice floaty piece which covers it up, and you have the big hinge in there itself, so you can bring that up and also shift it back and forth. And as you can tell, it's so loose. It does hold the position, but damn, really just like the slightest touch of it really brings it out of the pose you chose. And we also have a hidden bicep swivel on the part where the fishnet starts, and the big ugly hinge again gets the job done, but it doesn't look pretty. The hands are on ball hinges, which are also like, I think it's like the right one, it just keeps disconnecting, it keeps breaking apart in the middle. Ah, there you go. You know, I don't even have to do anything, so that's also an issue, and the hands are not on there super tightly as well. So it's okay, I'm not gonna worry about that right now. Then for the chest area, you do have chest articulation. I almost forgot about that. Can move the boobs around. They're fairly stiff, but you have the ball in there, and it is connected. Actually, let me try and pull this out. Have you ever seen one of these? Boom, there you go. That's your boba articulation. Can bring it up all the way, can move it down, can bring it side to side a little bit, and I never thought I'd talk about this. Do, however, be very careful. Do not push it in too much, because I had already on this side, yeah, I had this entire piece disconnect actually, and just disconnect from the ball joint that goes in there. So getting this out, I heated it up, got a little bit of a knife to just kind of wiggle it out, so that's and I can't get it on anymore. So be aware of that, be careful with that. I do those mistakes, so you don't have to. Then we have a big hinge in there, which goes for super nice back and forth articulation. Also does tilt side to side, but as such it barely rotates around. And then for the hip part, can rotate a big butt around. This entire crotch piece is hard plastic, but it is not connected, it is floaty, so you can wiggle this up and down depending on the poses. But once again, it doesn't go all the way around. You do have some side to side movement kind of hidden in there, and the forward, let me see that again, the forward and backward movement is okay, I guess. Then going down to the legs, you have, I don't even know what this is. Now like a ball, and then it's curved, and it goes into another ball. So as such, you do have the sockets in there, which are also a little bit bigger. So you can rotate it around, can bring it forward quite nicely, out to the side, and also to the back. But don't worry about all the gaps, because since it's like on the ball and inside of it, you can somewhat pull it out, and you can also shift the crotch piece around to hide some holes in there. More on that later. But anyway, hide the holes. Yeah, anyway, you don't want to hide the holes. You have a swivel on the thigh. Beautiful, beautiful double hinge knee for some more special poses, I might say. And then you have another ball hinge in the foot, so you can bring that up and down. You can also rotate it on the top part. We don't really have a pivot though, because I think it's pegged in straight. I barely get anything out of it. Yeah, you can just rotate it on the lower half. And finally, you also do have a toe hinge, which doesn't really accomplish much. That's as much as you get. Great. For your accessories, you have a bunch of safe for work things, like these beautiful faces. Well, they are kind of safe for work, but as you can tell, you have like the neutral face and then like kind of like a little bit of an angry whatever. And then we go like through different levels of pleasure, I would say. And moving on to the boba. Yeah, you can take off the boba. So you have ones which are kind of cut up a little bit to show some nipple, and then you have the full experience. Also like the one where she's fully uncovered, the boba are a little bit bigger because they're not held back by the spandex, which is a nice attention to detail, I might add. And for the other accessories, you do get the sword, which has a nice metallic paint job on there, and a handle in like a dark gold. And you just take the handle off, and you put it on the sheath. And then you have the version with the sheath. Has some more dark blue and gold, and this is where the pussy's in. I can't show you that. Go to Twitter. Yes, I've been plugging it quite a bit, but I'm just saying, if you want to see those things, you know where to find me. Anyway, then there's like this little cardboard, writing, whatever. I don't know what it says. Probably says something, feel free to use me, or whatever. You know, I know the drill. Then we have the hands to hold on to the sword. Double peace sign hands. Obviously, you gotta have those. And also these grabby hands, or coming hands, right? That's what it is. Well, I actually got here to stand without the base. I know it's a little bit of a weird pose. And also, you do have the option to move the ankles to the side, but you have to rotate the ball joint on the upper half around so that the split, the cut, is on the side. So you do actually get a pivot out of that. I found that out of myself. Way! So anyway, final thoughts of this figure. This figure costs $215 when you buy it. And then you have to add like shipping when you buy it from Japan. You have to add shipping, and you have to add customs. So this figure is expensive, and I just want to preface that because I think this figure like looks amazing. The paint job on it is super duper clean. I love the metallic, although they forgot to paint the neck, unfortunately. The articulation is also some of the best actually I've seen. She's so agile, can get her in a number of cool poses, or you know, spicy poses, let's call it like that. The main part, also she has some pretty cool accessories. The main part that really pisses me off is how this figure should be a lot tighter at the price point. Like, there's stuff disconnecting, there's the boba joints disconnecting, there's the wobbly joints in the legs and the shoulders in general. It needed to be better at the price point, so... Oh yeah, also, here's the base. I forgot about the base, but yeah, you get like a base. The base is surprisingly tight. Holy hell. Anyway, fuck. Yeah, this figure, I feel like if you really like the design, honestly, I don't feel that bad about putting out the cash. It's like a one-time investment for me. Like, I got my Asagi, and I'm good. I'm never gonna get another one, even if they do another one. I don't care. I got my Asagi. I'm happy with the figure in general, but it's too expensive. And it needed to be tighter. And that's really it. I feel like, you know, if you're a big fan of the figure, of the character, if you've seen shows, if you play the games, and you absolutely have to have one, this is probably your last shot. Again, unless they do another re-release of this. But still, I have a lot of fun with posing her. And I do recommend it, but again, it is overpriced as hell. That's gonna do it, guys. As usual, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this review, hit it up with a like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned for figure reviews, card game stuff, and whatever Asagi wants.